Of course, it would happen that the most popular of my early videos ripping into Kent Hovind would happen to be one that's also plagued with both technical and production errors. This, of course, being the Whack an Atheist Hank Green Crash Course reaction video. Long and the short is between some editing issues, because at the time I was recording my audio separate from the video of the reaction, as well as issues with just me running it at too high a speed for most people because I don't want to hear Kent Hovind any more than I have to, resulting in it being not very good in the grand scheme. So, granted, I'm a little tired right now. I'm not feeling 100%, but I thought I'd go on and, you know, do a redux. This is really take three at this because the one I released was actually take two. I got about 20 minutes in originally, if memory serves, and then just completely crashed out. It wasn't going well. So whatever. We're gonna do this again. It's gonna be at 1x speed. Try to make it quick. At least this is something I've seen before, so I'll at least remember some of what I wanted to say. Probably. Hopefully. Really don't know for sure. Whatever case, let's get into it again.
Well, good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, July 31st, 2024. Tonight, Whack an Atheist. Donnie got me started. I'd never heard of this guy before. Hank Green, Crash Course. He's got a lot of videos out there, and he's an excellent teacher.
Now, I want to point out right there that he did the exact same thing he did to Professor Dave here. He says, oh, he's an excellent teacher, except on evolution, where somehow he's just completely wrong. What's funny though is that and this is on my channel, during the section in comments on comments where he actually acknowledges me making the very video that I'm remaking here, it gets very meta, but he acknowledges the original video and reacts to some comments in it. One person had asked why not binge watch Hank's content, because at the time I didn't recognize the name. I didn't realize who he was. And a lot of people, were like, how do you not know? I don't do those YouTube circles, so it didn't fall in my radar. That's the short answer of it. But a person had asked that, and Kent saw it and responded something like, "If you want to write your brain or something, go ahead." So he teaches good content, this Hank Green person, according to Kent, except on evolution. But if you were to binge watch his content, you would just be doing damage to yourself, to your intelligence, basically. That's what he's implying, and I just found it funny. This is the fine example of him talking through both sides of his mouth. He doesn't expect people to so much pay attention to that. It's comments on comments. No one's paying attention to that. But these whacking atheists, he's got to, you got to do that ass kissing that a lot of people do when they want to just, when they really just want to talk shit about you constantly. At least I'm honest with my opinion of Kent. I don't hate him, but I don't like him very much. That's putting it simply. Let's continue. I don't want to hear this again, but I'm doing it for you because I feel like I owe everyone a reasonable, albeit a little tired, proper reaction to this without all the fuck ups. Well, there's going to be fuck ups, but you know the ones I mean. Back to Hovind.
But when he gets on evolution, he's teaching the wrong thing. So, Hank, we're going to straighten you out tonight and have to whack you and get you straight back on the straight and narrow course, okay? Science is wonderful. Evolution is not part of science. Okay, here we go. We're at Genesis Baptist Church, old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating Baptist church. And we finally got another Jeep. I can take that sign out. Praise God. Okay. We're in Lenox, Alabama, straight north of Pensacola.
Yeah, Kent, must be nice having Jeeps and shit donated to you. I mean, it must be great just getting all this crap given to you all the time. Also, no one gives a fuck how far north of Pensacola you are. A bunch of people don't know where the fuck Pensacola is. It's not exactly that major of a place in its own right. You only bring it up because that's where you were based, and I guess you're still pissed off about losing the original DAL. Here's an idea, though. Don't get in trouble with the feds over taxes. You might still have your original Dinosaur Adventureland. But, I'm not even going to get started on that, but yeah, you're a sovereign citizen, Kent. Just, you are. Whether you deny it or not, you are.
70 miles where God gets the glory instead of the stupid evolution religion. So tonight, right there, Hank Green, Crash Course. Starting this Friday, we'll be going through more of the lies in the textbooks. We'll cover some of those tonight because Hank uses them. That they
Like to note that R and Raw did an entire video series on the lies in the textbook video, ripping apart every single aspect of it. And I mean every single aspect. So if you haven't already checked that out, go watch it. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Lies in the textbook is 100% bullshit.
say supports the evolution theory. You can help us to open for free. Apologize for my voice. I've been talking too much. Uh, Atheists are saying, Amen, amen. He's on our 777 club. Thank you.
I just want to point out that I think in the dictionary, next to the phrase shit eating grin, is Ken Hovind smiling like that. Not like he is right now, just pause him at an inopportune time, but a moment ago after he made that garbage joke. That is the quintessential shit eating grin.
Aaron Nelson calls himself Aaron Ra, the sun god. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for the wonderful idea. You've really helped us a lot. Okay, I hope you want to be a member. Donate $1 a day, 31 bucks a month. I don't ever check up on it. I don't know who does, who doesn't. Okay, it's between you and God. But you can call Sandra 855 Big Dino extension 1, or
Yeah, Kent, you probably don't check on it because you don't want to know about the donations because you don't want to have to keep track of anything. You don't want to be involved at all in anything that involves money. Granted, somehow Genesis Baptist Church is a 501c. I mean, they'll give that status to practically anything that's a reasonable religion. It's like, oh, we're a church. Okay, here's your tax exempt. Uh, but yeah, and honestly, I'm sure you do pay attention to that, Kent. I'm sure you're watching every dollar roll in and just imagining what kind of crazy shit you can buy for yourself. I don't know what the hell you're into, but probably something weird. I don't know. I've just heard some things, that's all.
email her secretary at drdino.com. If you want to get an email to me, that's the best way to do it. I don't have time to even look at email, very rarely.
Yeah, that's a real responsible, let's see, real responsible pastor, as you're supposed to be. Real responsible doctor, scientist, public personality who doesn't check their email. Why the fuck do you even have email? Oh, right, so you can ignore it and you can brag about how busy you are. Here's something for you, everyone watching. If you email me, I'll see it, and I'm more than likely going to respond unless it's a complete load of shit. So, email Ken Hovind, get ignored. Email me, I'll chat with you. I can think of which one I'd rather do. And I know me. I know I'm a boring conversation, but I'd rather talk to me than talk to Kent. Oh man, this is going to take a while. I'm just trying to put it off.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We're at drdino.com, our website. 8.
Just want to point out, drdino.com looks fucking terrible. I know I've said it in the last one. I said it in other videos. The old version of the website was a lot better. If it's properly backed up on archive.org, I should do a comparison between the current version and the old version, because the old one was actually something to look at. Also, I will never stop thinking that this 8.29 years, instead of saying, 8 years and, 3 months, is really fucking weird. I don't know if Kent makes it think he sounds like more fancy or something. It just sounds like something some hyper nerd would do just to be different, and it would make sense for them to do it. It's like, oh, 8.29 years. Well, when Hovind does it, it's just pompous.
0.29 years we've been open now for free because people support us. Hey, we made it. No, I got to change that. I have 800 videos and 29,000. This is just on YouTube, plus all the other ones. So
Yeah, you had a lot more videos and a lot more subscribers on your old channel. Whatever happened to your old channel? Oh, right. And then your backup. That's why when you made this one, you had to put a disclaimer that says that you don't own it, even though you own the church and all the property, and this is all about you and what you have to say. That YouTube loophole is really funny. You think it's something they would have cracked on, but then again, Google does that kind of shit all the time. Oh, this isn't something owned by Google, but it's totally owned by Google. Makes you think.
Tonight, Whack an Atheist Wednesday. It's a fun game we play here. It's a joke, okay? Calm down. Nobody's hurt. Tonight, Hank, you get the prize. We're going to whack you. In the whack-a-mole game, the mole sticks his head up. You see how fast you can whack it back down. Evolutionists stick their head up and say something dumb, like they're related to a potato. We like to whack them back down. Oh, shut this thing off. If you ever seen my daughter's wedding on America's Funniest Home Videos, you need to watch that.
You know, was that video clip actually on America's Funniest Home Videos? Because I kind of wonder. But I kind of don't. But still, this is a slight thing, but it still feels like Kent's level of just inconsiderateness that he didn't think to mute the phone beforehand, that he just didn't care enough to. Because he acts like such a proper business person who's so methodical that you think he wouldn't skip something like that. I don't know, it just doesn't quite add up to me. But then again, I'm trying to figure out how Kent Hovind thinks. And we're only 2.5 minutes in. Buckle up, this is going to be another long one.
Okay. Even small children can learn to play whack-a-mole, and adults love it too.
Whack
It's
a
for an
Hovind.
atheist to stick his head up and sweetly whack him back down with real science in Christian love. I enjoy it. Enjoyed it. Who did you did that, Joseph? That no.
Yeah, said it before. That art looks stupid. And you just whack with lies. That's all you do, Kent. You lie constantly. That's literally it. There you go. Saved you all the time in the video. Are we done here? No? You want me to continue? Okay.
Crybaby did that one for me. Thank you, Crybaby. So many atheists, so little time. Tonight, the winner is Hank Green and Crash Course. Donnie got me started on this, last Tuesday or Monday, 2 days ago. I said, they got to go through this word by word with this guy, okay? He's done a lot of videos, like the one he did 12 years ago, 2.8 million views. Evolution, it's a thing. It doesn't make any sense to me.
This just in. Old man is out of touch with modern slang that's pretty easy to parse. But, I'll give Kent credit here. He's 70 fucking years old. 71, 72, something like that. He's fucking ancient.
This pencil is a thing. Let's see, this dinosaur is a thing. Evolution is not a thing. It's not real. But let's let Hank talk for a minute. Right here. That's not it. What did I do here? Right there. Okay.
At least every time I think my production value is garbage, still doing better than Kent when he has to actually control his own slides, his own YouTube video feed. Oh man. And again, part of me is like, well, he is an old man. He spent 10 years in prison. He's still not adapted, even though it's been 8.26975 years that DAL's been opened, and he's been using YouTube the whole time. So you think he would have gotten used to it now, Hovind? Um, but the other part of me is like, well, he is an arrogant asshole, so I shouldn't give him benefit of the doubt on these kinds of things. That's why people like me, AJ, R&Raw, etc., are critical of him. Not just because of him stating outright falsities on science and just on reality, but the fact that he's such an arrogant prick. And that's one of those things that just certain types of people just are like that. And they're genuinely like that. And types like me, we pick up on that and we call bullshit. It's just how we're wired.
Oh, there, Hank. Okay. Hank, take it away.
Congratulations, this is our last episode of our section on evolution and genetics, which puts us at the halfway mark of Crash Course Biology. So far, we've learned about DNA, genetics.
Hank, DNA does not help evolution theory at all. DNA is way too complex. It had to be designed.
Define complexity. You're just making a wild assertion, and you didn't even let Hank finish what he was saying. This is what you do, Kent. You don't let people get anywhere in what they're saying before you look for a keyword and just jump on it with your script. You could literally program an AI to do what you do, and it would do it better. And that's not saying it would do a good job in the long run, because everything you say is bullshit, but a freaking large language modeling machine, basic AI scripting as we have it currently, in what people are currently thinking of the buzzword AI, chat GPT kind of thing, could do what you do better. Just let it sink in, Kent. It's funny, you're replaceable in a way. It'd still be wrong, but you could easily be replaced.
Genetics, also incredibly complex. Don't claim that either one of those words apply to evidence for your evolution religion. They do not. Natural selection does not create anything, Hank. It selects. Now, you talk fast and you rattle off a bunch of words, and your students go, wow, it's got to be true. Look at all the words he used. Hank, none of those apply to evolution. None.
You see how it just goes off on little tangents like that? Like, just because Hank happened to say DNA, he just went off on all that. Just, that's his entire thing. And to criticize people for saying they talk fast, use a lot of big words, when as soon as Kent needs to sound like he knows what he's talking about on anything, he, in some cases, literally makes shit up, like his wobbler shaft on a something or other on a car, some stupid shit he says, try to sound smart. It's like it's done as a joke, but it's like it's a stupid joke. Not that any of his jokes are really that good, but you know what I mean. But he is his double standard. That's another thing with Kent. It's just always double standards, triple standards in some cases. I don't even know how that's possible, but he somehow does it. Back to Hank. Like Hank.
It's natural selection, how cells multiply,
How cells multiply is really complex. Hank, the DNA.
It's more complex. All he talks about is complexity. Complexity means design. Funny thing is, Kent, simplicity would imply design. Uniqueness would imply design. So, you're not even right in your own crazy assertion. It's funny. The more you think about it, the more it's like a Mandelbrot set of just fractal wrongness is what you get with Ken Hovind. It just keeps getting worse and worse the more you stare at it.
In your body, just one person, if you unwound it from each one of the cells, tied them all together, your DNA, just one person, would go across the solar system twice. You think that happened by chance? Hank, you're insane. I'm sorry. Who taught you that? Get your money back.
And then he takes a sip thinking he had, made a good point when he just rattled off more of a stupid script. Must be nice to get people just giving you things just left and right, while you just ramble off the same shit like a broken record over and over. Oh man, now I see why I don't remember this video, because Kent just seems to have pissed me off right from the get-go. Oh well, I pissed him off too, so I guess it works out. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the fact that he got so mad in the comments on comments video, and just he seems genuinely irritated, more than I would expect him to be, at my comment of if he's smart he won't acknowledge me, he won't react to me, he won't challenge me to a debate, but he did it anyway. Back to the video.
Populations are supposed to, you're claiming all these words and fields of study are evidence for your theory, and they're not. None.
You're claiming this old book that tells a bunch of stories that are absolutely demonstrably false, save for a few perfectly common occurrences or some locations that existed, somehow explains the entire universe. Except it doesn't at all, because it can't even get the order of things being extant in the universe right. Planets before the sun? How is that possible, Kent? People from dust? What? That's a golem spell. Hovind.
None of them are. I'm sorry, for your religion. Speciation.
It's not a religion, Kent.
Well, nobody knows for sure what a species is, Hank. There are 26 different definitions. We've been over that before.
The multiple definitions are because there are multiple ways in which you can describe a species and multiple situations where speciation could be seen as having happened. Thus, a definition has to be picked that is most applicable to the organisms being compared. It's not that hard of a concept. You can't define kind. You say you can, but all you do is give examples of what a kind is supposed to be, but it doesn't really answer the question. And when pressed in cases where speciation has resulted in stuff that's kind of the same kind, but isn't, you have to weasel out of it because you can't really answer stuff. And when you reach that point, like, well, I can't tell you where exactly it is, but I'm not trying to have that taught in schools. You just go off into the school thing, into the taxes thing. That's irrelevant to the facts, completely irrelevant. Thankfully, just like you mostly are, because you used to be a big deal in churches and stuff. Not so much anymore. Don't see you traveling around that much. Then again, I'll give you benefit of the doubt. You are a 70-year-old man. Traveling's a bit of a problem. That's notwithstanding possible issues legally, being a convicted felon and all, but we're not going to get into that. I'm not an expert on these kinds of things, but it's just worth bringing up.
And so, if man decides to call a creature a new species, like maybe there's a new kind of cardinal, and he's got blue feathers instead of red feathers. Okay.
I just want to bring up that, Kent, in your own story, didn't a man name all the animals? Wasn't that something that happened and that's how everything got its name? Just got presented to Adam and it's like, oh, that's a giraffe, that's a zebra, that's a mongoose, that's a platypus, that's a pig. Oh no, wait, that's my wife. Her, Hovind. That's seriously the kind of joke he'd make. I do not condone those jokes. I only make them to mock Hovind and his boomer as fuck humor. There's a little disclaimer. What was that? Oh, right. Yeah, Kent and that whole thing. I find it funny that little nuances like that don't matter. But, Adam can name things, so a man can name all the animals, but we can't name all the animals. Which basically what he's saying, like, oh, this guy can name them. No one else can. You can't decide things about them. He also says, the animals don't care what we call them, yet simultaneously is hell bent on the kinds, which are, again, what we call them. So, like I said, double standard, triple standard in some cases. It's crazy with Kent. Just never ends.
It's still a cardinal, still a bird. They might call it a new species of cardinal. But all we've ever seen in the history of humanity is variations within the same kind.
What's a kind, Kent?
Never anything else. So I'm sorry, speciation is only simply man deciding to call it a new species. The animals don't care. They don't even know we're classifying them, Hank.
See right there. Animals don't care. They don't even know we're classifying them, Hank. Then you can't bring up animal names ever, and thus you can't even bring up the kind concept. Because if you would consider, whatever kind, the best I could infer is that part of it goes based on the way Adam would have named animals. I mean, oh man, it just goes deep the way you can interpret this stuff. Because that's what happens with vague fairy tales that try to describe how the universe works. They're open to interpretation. That's why you have so many denominations of just Christianity alone. A massive schism between at least two halves of it, two major sections. You got your Catholic and your Protestant, and even and obviously the Protestants are split up to no end. But then Catholicism is split up into various little sects. It's wild. It's almost as if it's everyone arguing over something that is obviously not true and can't be exactly compared to reality, so that a common answer can actually be found. I don't know why I keep going into the Hovind voice, probably because I'm laying back in my chair trying to relax while I watch this, and my throat naturally gets into the Hovind, into the same position you'd have your mouth in to try to do the Hovind accent. Hovind! Because, if I sit forward, it's not so bad, but then if I lean back, it slowly starts to go back into the Hovind voice. Hovind! Huh. There you go. That's a tip for you. Just lean back in your chair if you want to do the Hovind voice so you don't stress your vocal cords anymore. Because you gotta talk like this and sound like a complete douchebag. Hovind!
Nor do they care. They know what to look for in a mate. And cows always produce cows, dogs always produce dogs. There are no exceptions. Speciation is not help for evolution. Replication, again, the genetic replication, the process to copy a DNA, it has to unzip.
The process to copy a DNA. 1-deoxyribonucleic acid. I'm gonna copy the stalamine. Is that the name of it? I don't even know. I forget the names of the particular actual key acids that are protein. No, yeah, the acids. God, shit, man. Oh, it has been a while since I really brushed up on the details of DNA and the like. Really should get back to it, but you know, I'll find the time. Could make some time instead of ripping into Hovind, especially on videos I've already done, but I'm having fun right now. Learn later, have fun now.
It, copy it, loop one side around, and reverse it. Study DNA replication, Hank. It doesn't help evolution. It really hurts your religion. It can't
Yeah, and you don't actually stress how, you just say. You just assert things. Constant assertions, Hovind.
happen by chance.
Can happen by chance. Hovind.
Speciation, replication, respiration, and photosynthesis.
Respiration helps evolution. Did I change into something else?
He's just trying to provide entertainment, Kent. You're reading too deep into stuff.
I've been doing that a long time, Hank. You are desperate. And you're fooling a lot of people. They think you got some science behind evolution. You don't. I'm sorry.
You're desperate, Kent, and you're fooling a lot of people in thinking there's actual science behind your idea of creation. But you're wrong. See how easy it is to just say things like that? Of course, what I said is actually true. What you say is complete bullshit, but, you're going to disagree, and, that's fine. You can disagree all you want. You can believe all the stupid stuff you want. But, you're wrong.
None of those. Photosynthesis, the complex the way plants can take sunlight and convert it to energy, you really think, and sugars, you really think that happened by chance?
Kent, photosynthesis is ridiculously complicated. And I know you're like, yeah, I try you think it happened by chance. No, no, no. It's way more complicated than it needs to be, as in, it can be a whole lot simpler. There's a whole lot of extra steps and a lot of stupid stuff involved that just doesn't need to be there. If it was created, it would be a simple process, because simplicity is a hallmark of design. Good design, I should say. So, what the plants I'm looking at right now in my room are doing, a process that, if memory serves, takes about a solid second to happen, um, is oh man, I can't remember the details. There's a lot of useless steps to it that just don't need to be in there and can be engineered out in some kind of testing. It's a vague recollection on this. I was reading up on it late one night, hadn't gotten back to it. Um, it's some cool stuff though, photosynthesis, but it's way inefficient. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a very very inefficient process. Should be a whole lot more straightforward, and it's not. But you'd say that's something to celebrate God's design. If anything engineered that, if it isn't a side effect of happenstance and a product of evolutionary processes, then it is a garbage design. It works, but way, way too much. Way more of a thing than it needs to be. But you're not you would never see it like that. You would never see the flaws in it. You just ignore those. So that's what a creationist does. Just ignores all the problems. There's no problems. There's no problem with evil. There's viruses. It's because of the fall. We deserve it. All the way the world works, like as if there is no deity. You just it's just how it works. It's there though. It gets involved. It's like no, no, it doesn't, Kent. Clearly doesn't. I'm rambling again. Let's continue.
None of these things help, Hank. You rattled off a bunch of words is all you did.
Rattled off a bunch of words. That's all you did, Hovind. That's all Hovind does. Rattle off a bunch of words. Has no meaning. Waits for keywords. Hovind.
Speciation. I'm so proud of you. But I couldn't let this section in without discussing the discussion that everybody can't help but discuss these days: evolution.
Everybody's discussing that these days.
Well, it's about all you fucking do, Kent. That and ramble off through some, millennia old manuscript of bullshit. How does one get saved? How does one? I'm going to read Job, and Job said, oh, even though you treat me like shit, God, I'm still going to love you because, abusive relationships are, that's the way the universe is supposed to work. And and abortion. Oh, I'm gonna go on a monologue about abortion, but it can't be on YouTube because, it's too extreme and I don't want to lose my channel again. Hovind.
You must run in a really small circle. Okay. It's a thing. Brother, am I just old school and I don't understand?
You're not old school, Kent. You're just old.
It seems kind of dumb. Everything's a thing. Okay.
It's a thing. It's not a debate. Evolution.
Oh, it is certainly up for debate. Tell you what, Hank, I'll debate you anytime. Call 855 Big Dino extension 4 Joseph Bookham. Okay. Sergio, contact him. Crash course. Say, come down, sit right here. We'll have a debate.
Ken Hovind's "fight me, bro" comment. He didn't sound that angry as he did, when he was saying the same thing to his guys about me. Who, by the way, they still have not contacted me. So I don't know who the fuck Sergio is. I guess he can't send an email, or whoever his other goons are. I've gotten nothing. It's been a good couple of days now, Kent. You gonna You ever gonna get around to sending that email or contacting me? I mean, my email's in my YouTube channel. It's there's the about section, and I think there's a thing to click that says view email, and you solve a captcha, which I know might be complicated for you, but you solve the captcha, and then it'll show my email address, which is chris@zadara.com. So I want to get around to sending an email, and if you can't translate what I just said, chris@zadara.com, then you're not doing enough research, because you should be able to find out how to spell that, because it's not hard to see a link to that website and see the other stuff I've written, including stuff about you, a lot of other things, fun things, some not so fun. I got a lot of interests. I don't spend all my time just making videos about you. I don't spend all my time rambling on about Ken Hovind, or religion sucking, or stupid stuff. I do a lot of creative projects that far beyond the scope of anything you do. I'm not trying to brag about it, but I'm just saying I'm very multifaceted. You're barely a one-trick pony. So, I don't know. What I will say is, isn't that red panda adorable? 99% sure that's a red panda, and fuck, they're adorable. Nope, red pandas are not a debate. They are cute.
There is no evidence at all for evolution.
There is no evidence at all for God. Gotcha. Mic drop. This is the part where the air horn would play if this was like a edited meme filled video, but I just do it live. Fuck it.
You say it's not a debate. That doesn't mean it's not.
This is what makes life possible. It allows.
Evolution doesn't make life possible. God created life. Hank, would you please tell me how life got started on this planet?
You say it's not God, so you tell me how it happened. Duh. That's not a response. I mean, one, you just asserted that a deity did it, so you have to prove the deity. And two, asking someone else to answer the question doesn't mean your answer is right if they can't answer it. That's 5-year-old logic, bro. Come on, Kent. Grow up.
I don't want a story. I want a scientific demonstration. Tell you what,
Yeah, I don't want a story either, but you seem to spend every day doing your little shitty Bible study, rambling on about shit. Can't help but make, your own comments, your own stuff in there. You can't just, you can't even just basically, give a sermon and make it, be something even remotely decent. You got to do that thing that so many preachers do, where they just got to start rattling off some shit for an hour that has nothing to do with anything, and somehow they think it works back into it. It's like, no, you're just boring people. Stories are already boring enough. Then they got to hear your garbage story on top of the already boring Bible story. Come on, dude.
do it again in the laboratory.
Okay, 8 minutes 7 seconds in. Let the record show that this is where Kent has already just completely fried. He already had a bonus because I'm tired from work because I put in my 9 hours today. God damn, Kent is insufferable to listen to. I know I'm always so damned exhausted after these videos. Fuck. I'm doing this one again? And I still got like 20 minutes to go? I don't know if I can do it, guys. I don't think I can make it. Losing my mind. More than normal.
Make life out of chemicals.
And if someone did, Kent, you would just say, aha, you had to make the apparatus and you had to make it, which means it still requires intelligence to do it. Because we've already done that in the Miller-Urey experiment, amongst other things, where we have shown that self-replicating molecules can form in the conditions of a prebiotic Earth, if that's correct. Earth before life was on it. The conditions that we suspect and have evidence of having been on Earth at the time. And you just say, oh, it shows that you need life to do it, even though the entire point is that you've created an isolated simulation of what the Earth was like at that point. But of course, you reject that the Earth was ever in that kind of state. Therefore, the whole thing becomes moot anyway, because that's your entire point, is to just reject anything that doesn't conform to your garbage ass fairy tale. And of course, to assert that everyone else is just rejecting, actual science because it doesn't refer to their religion. That isn't a religion at all, because evolution isn't a religion, science isn't a religion. But you got to do that false equivalence because Hovind, you got to make me look as bad as you because religion bad, so you got a religion, so you're bad too. It's like, come on, dude, you're as transparent as glass, and about as thin-skinned as an onion, but that's another story.
Organisms to adapt to the environment as it changes.
No. God created each creature with a DNA code that has variations within it. Two humans can make babies, and they can all come out different, but they're all human. They might get a red head or a brown hair or blonde hair or black hair, but they're all human. So sure, there's variations within the same kind, but it's not evidence for evolution. You're saying evolution is responsible for the diversity of life? Why can't you give God the glory? See, we admit ours is a religion.
Because there is no God. There is no evidence that a God would have created anything. Why you can't grasp this is beyond me. Oh, wait, there's 1,000,001 reasons you can't get it. Mostly because it brings you money. And here's the part where he gets into it being, saying, oh, what I believe is a religion. You can't admit yours is a religion. This is what makes Ken Hovind videos so insufferable, the fact that he just rambles on saying the same shit for so long. But if I skip it, you miss out on him saying that content and thus lose context. So I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Which is why I wanted to run through the videos faster, but then it becomes impossible for people to understand Kent because they might not be trained to listen to people at that high of a speed. So I'm fucked either way. Gotta let his garbage play. So I gotta find a fine balance between reacting to it and just letting him meander off. But I know other people aren't going to watch his videos. They're going to watch me, AJ, and other people rip into his videos. So vicariously, that's how they watch Hovind's content, to get basically a secondhand sample of his bullshit. So in a sense, It's a way of archiving this stuff, especially if he loses his channel again. This content ends up being archived in this kind of backwards way. Not that it deserves an archive, but, it's nice to have it with criticism. Then again, also, me stopping the pause all the time helps validate the whole fair use thing, which this is fair use anyway, but the more I stop and comment, the better off it is. So, this is what happens sometimes. I just start thinking out loud. But you get a, glimpse into my thinking process. So, maybe you found it interesting. Maybe not. I don't know. You want more Hovind? Nobody wants more Hovind, but here comes more Hovind. I'll try to not pause him for a whole minute. 8:45. Can I make it to 9:45 without pausing him? Bullshit storm incoming.
Religion. We believe God made everything, and God gave the creatures the ability to produce a variety of babies, big cows, little cows. And farmers can select those traits and develop cows that give more milk, cows that give more beef, whatever. But they can't get out of the cow kind. Evolution has nothing to do with this. Nothing. But you've been teaching, now this is class number 20, I guess. This is the first one I've seen. You're claiming this evolution gets credit for the diversity?
It's responsible.
Aren't those, I think those are cheetahs. Aren't they cute too? A lot of cute little animals in Hank's slides. I was going to turn Kent down and, I didn't make it past 9:45 without pausing him. I was going to turn Kent down and talk over him, but, yeah, we're just going to continue.
The enormous diversity and complexity of life on Earth, which not only provides organisms with sources of food and some healthy competition.
You're giving evolution credit for all this? Hank, call for a debate. Please call for a debate. Come down, stay at Dinosaur Adventureland for a day or so. We'll feed you, house you, put you in our cabins. You have a wonderful time here, give you a tour, and teach you some real science.
Debating you is a waste of time.
You're an excellent teacher on other subjects, Hank. You really are. Congratulations. But you are dead wrong on this one. There is no evidence for evolution. Evolution doesn't give us truly awesome stuff to marvel at. God gave us stuff to marvel at. Why can't you give
Yeah, like mosquitoes and Ebola.
God the glory for what he created?
Oh, and let's not forget cancer. Yep. Remember, always give God glory for cancer. Fucking psychopathic fuck.
It also gives us some truly awesome stuff to marvel at. And even...
Hank, do you believe these charts that show...
Oh, here we go. He's bringing out his charts. Look out, it's lines on paper.
You showed an elephant a minute ago. Hank, do you believe the elephant and the penguin, on here somewhere, here we go. Do you believe the penguin and the elephant have a common ancestor? Do you believe you have a common ancestor?
Low quality Hovind. Stream buffered. Hovind.
Yes, you do.
Lower bandwidth.
Because you've been brainwashed. That's all. I can unbrainwash you. I can help. Hank, open challenge. Please come. Evolution does not get credit for any of this. Evolution makes living things different? No. It's already built into the gene code. Natural selection works. It doesn't create anything.
No, evolution makes living things different from one another. It also shows us how we're all the same.
It does no such thing. You're either brainwashed or you're lying, Hank. Evolution doesn't show us we're all the same. The DNA code is similar in different animals because they have the same designer.
Just more wild assertions. I mean, do I need to say anything else? That's all this man has. His script and his wild assertions. Complexity means designer. Common traits mean common designer. So, common... It's like, I mean... At a point, hearing it so much and having parsed it down as far as it could go, you just look at the screen, look at Kent's, duh face right there and just be like, that's it? And this is how you managed to make money. This is how you were a success in churches and shit. It's just kind of sickening that someone can just be this full of shit and yet be given, 100 some odd acre, gravel pit be given all these resources to start this junk up by gullible idiots who think that he's somehow a good person, that he's saying something of value. He's just lying for money. It's like the Rick and Morty skit. The slime washes through the town, God is a lie, we made him up for money. That's all it is. Anyway, look at the cheetah. Cheetahs are beautiful. Also, giraffes earlier, love giraffes. Also, they are fucking tall. I don't know if you've seen them in zoos. Yeah, they look tall. Stand beside one. I have. I'm just shy of 6 foot, and their belly area is above head level. They're tall. It's pretty impressive. Very, very, very affectionate little buggers too. Well, they're not little; they're big. That's what I was just saying. But they're kind of affectionate. Really like bananas too.
Does it ever even occur to you that maybe there's a designer behind all this? I worry for you, Hank, because you're.
Also, let's note how Kent always seems to just want to insult the intelligence of his of is it interocular? Is interocular the word? The person he's responding to in any case. Uh, he's always gotta just be that passive rude to make himself seem like a reasonable person. Now again, I don't give a flying fuck because I'm not trying to lie to anybody's face. I'm telling it exactly as it is, calling it exactly as I see it, and doing this again for fun, for entertainment. Because I don't like you, Kent. You've done terrible things. You lie. You're manipulative. You manipulate gullible people for money. It's not cool. Also, really don't like sob sits. Really don't like New World Order conspiracy nuts. And I really, really, really hate people who abuse their wives. Tick, tick, tick. Honey, you check all the boxes, Kent.
Leading a lot of people to believe this stupid religion. That's going to look bad for you on Judgment Day before the God who created everything. I'm trying to help.
You ain't trying shit, you
All
can't.
of life, every single thing that's alive on the earth today can claim the same shared heritage, having descended from the very first microorganism.
There you go. You admit you believe all the life forms came from
Lines
the
on
single
paper.
common ancestor.
Amoeba
Look at
turns
that.
into a walrus. Hold it.
That's stupid. Real stupid. I'll debate you and all your buddies on it anytime. Bring them on.
Fight me, bro. Fight me on the internet. Fight me in debate, Hovind.
When life originated on this planet 3.8 billion years ago.
That is also baloney. The planet cannot be 3.8 billion years old for lots of scientific reasons. We can debate the age of the Earth if you'd like, Hank. This is not science.
Well, it is, Kent. You're wrong on every one of those. Recession of the moon, wrong. Let's see. What's his other ideas? Primarily recession of the moon. Actually, I think that's about the only one he's really got. I mean, I'm sure he's got others, but that's the one I always think of, which, again, wrong. You have a problem with, the heat problem, radioactive decay. Let's see. What else? So, the light problem. Let's not forget, light. But you just say that all the laws of physics were bent just because. It's always some convenient excuse with you. Convenient excuses. Lying for God. Hovind.
This is imagination, SpongeBob style.
I just want to say, and I've mentioned this in the Atheist Junior Discord, that I hope Viacom goes after Kent at some point for constantly, and apparently there's been copyright issues before between Viacom and Kent with him having SpongeBob shown prominently on a screen or something. But they really need to go after him for his constant use of SpongeBob to a point where, I mean, whatever happens, happens. I'm not a fan of corporations, especially media megacorporations, being super greedy on their intellectual property. But at the same rate, I also support the ownership of things you create. Maybe not in that degree as most megacorps, but at the same rate that when something like this goes on, you really shouldn't be able to have your brand sullied by this. You know, I think I articulated that. I don't know. I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of Kent. Let's continue. I almost wanted to quit, but I'm like, nope. We're gonna power through this.
There are people who will say that this is all random. It's not, and that this clumsy process could not be possible for the majestic beauty of our world.
I'm one of them. It can't be, Hank. They're right. You're wrong. Okay.
To them, I say, well, at least we agree that our world is beautiful.
No, that's true. Beautiful.
Hey, Kent. Pretty sure Hank is smarter than you, but you know. All I know is I just saw the guy. This is the only video of his I've seen. Seems pretty articulate. Seems pretty intelligent. Seems like a genuine guy. You look like I would have to wipe the slime off my hands if I shook your hand. Yeah, that joke. I did not deliver that well, but you guys know what I mean. Slimy used car salesman. Hovind, used car salesman. 2 10s for a 5. Hovind.
How do we know it's beautiful? How do we have that sense of appreciation? Do the cows look at the world and say how beautiful it is? Do any other creatures on the planet notice, wow, it's beautiful? Is it only humans?
Uh, Birds find shiny stones and stuff interesting. They seem to, be able to appreciate those objects for a trait that we would consider beauty. So, yeah, that's one example. Lots of corvids primarily because they're really, really smart birds. By the way, birds are dinosaurs. Not that you accept that, but it's a fact. But yeah, birds seem to see beauty in things, and I'm sure there's other animals who do too. But a lot of them are focused more on surviving. We seem to have had those little quirks that allow us to not only survive and thrive a little better than a lot of other creatures if given the right resources and work together to make the tools to take advantage of those resources, but also we have a lot of downtime to kind of just do whatever, like this. If I was a small rodent surviving out in the wild, I wouldn't have time to just sit there and chill. I'd be having to avoid predators and find forage for food. Don't have that issue in modern civilization. Just saying. Well, I mean, some of us don't. Some of us, it's urban jungle out there. But you don't care about the homeless problem. Not unless they're going to come listen to you talk about Jesus. In which case, then suddenly they're worth helping out. Hovind, I'll feed you if you're listening to Jesus. Hovind.
Do the ants look around and say, wow, look at that beautiful cloud? Does anything else appreciate the beauty? Is there something different about humans from all the other animals, Hank? Maybe you don't think there is.
But, well, you're probably not going to enjoy the rest of this video. To me,
I enjoy it, Hank. I can handle it anytime. Bring it on. I love it all day long. Okay? I'll debate atheists 10 a day, brother.
Kent, you got mad. You got visibly upset for me saying, if you're smart, you won't bother with me. You took that shit personally. And I relish that. I love the fact that I got under your skin that bad. Just by making a couple of videos. I don't know if that's a record. But people were pretty proud of me. AJ gave me props for it. So, yeah, I'm going to take some pride in that. Pride in pissing off Hovind. Hovind.
My voice comes back, okay? There are two sorts of people in the world.
There are two sorts of people in the world. Those that are excited about the power and beauty and simplicity of the process of evolution.
No, those that are excited about the power and beauty of God. Yeah, I'm one of those. I marvel. I went out in the clouds last night with the Russian youth group that was here. We sat and watched the stars come out. Man, I love the beauty of God's creation. He says there are two kinds of people: those who are excited about the simplicity of evolution,
and those who don't understand it. And so,
well, that's a false dichotomy, okay? Hank, I understand completely what you believe. I understand it way better than you do, actually, okay? You believe all life forms came from a common ancestor through natural selection, through mutations and random genetic change. This has never been demonstrated.
It's been demonstrated plenty, Kent. You just reject it every time that evidence is presented to you.
You have a religious belief in those things. I understand it way better than you. If you think that's
No, you don't, Kent. You, even if you buckled down, studied, and took it seriously for the rest of your life, you probably wouldn't understand it as much as our boy Hank here. Certainly not as much as Aaron. Not as much as Professor Dave. Not as much as anyone who has even the remotest inkling of a desire to focus on that subject. So I sure find it fascinating my own self. But man, going through species history, learning the chemistry involved in all these processes, yeah, you're right when you say it's complex. It's super fucking complex. So complicated, I just have to take the word for their word for it, the actual scientists who do this stuff. Because it gets into fields of study that are way past my level. And I don't feel I'm being lied to. Because all the information's there, it's presented. And if I push, try to understand it better, and it clicks, it clicks. If it doesn't, that's fine. Because the same methodologies that determine these factors of evolution, common ancestry, the nature of the geologic column, fossils, etc., which just provide their own geological and archaeological studies. They just provide evidence towards evolutionary theory. They're not part of evolution proper, like you want them to be. But all these facets combine together in the same way they combine together for so many other facets of science, of the universe, of the very systems you used to put this crap on YouTube. Same methodologies, figured it out. You reject the methodologies when they lead to the idea of evolution, but you fully accept them in every other case. It's funny how that works. And by funny, I mean totally predictable.
not true, debate me on it. Bring it on. Okay?
Fight me, bro!
Live in a country of 40%.
Somehow, I live in a country where only 40% of the population believes that evolution is a thing. The only
Yay, we're going to try to reduce that to 0% when I get done. Okay? Nobody should believe in evolution. It's dumb.
You're dumb, Kent. Like you are. This willingness to just outright reject reality is dumb. A willingness to not actually learn. That's outright stupidity. The only person who's ever been on one of your streams who is truly as stupid as you act like every evolutionist, every atheist is you.
It's stupid. It's a religion. Nothing scientific about it. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Hank.
Was a child retort. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Fucking dumbass. Just because you keep asserting it, Kent, doesn't make it true. Just because you keep saying it's a religion, it's dumb, it's not true, doesn't make what you say valid. It's not how reality's decided. It's not how facts of the world are decided. It's not how we figure out how the world works. No one just asserts random shit and then just say it so. That's authoritarian dogma. You smug asshole. You think you just are the arbiter of what's science, what's reality, and what's not? Piss off, Hovind. We're over halfway through. Let's make it through the last bit.
The possible reason for that I can accept is that they just don't understand.
It's the only thing you can accept. They don't understand it. Could it be that somebody really understands it better than you and they reject it because?
No, Kent, because you don't understand it. When asked actual proper questions on it, not like there's not proper questions, but you guys know what I mean. When you're asked detailed questions on it, you flounder. You crash like someone who's never looked into the subject. Best you can do is rattle off what stuff you have memorized. When it comes to critical thinking and actually processing stuff, you don't have a damn clue. And I'm not saying I can just, go off and be quizzed on this stuff and suddenly, figure out every single answer, easy. No, I'm rough around the edges on the subject. Very rough. But I also don't claim to be some evolutionary expert, like a certain person on screen does. You know, this jerk off right here. Stupid look on his face. I'm Ken Hovind. I know more about science than you, gee. God, yeah, I talk about childish shit, and I just did that, but, whatever. I'm so fucking tired. So tired of Kent. I want to go back to Guild Wars. If anyone ever wants to play Guild Wars 2, if they do, and they want to play, the game with me, just let me know. You know, I'll give you my info in game. We can play Guild Wars. Hovind doesn't play Guild Wars. Hovind's never fought Shadow Behemoth. Hovind, can't take down Caudal Sunless. At least the deities in Guild Wars are real. Hell, Guild Wars 1, you help a character become a deity. Pretty damn cool. See, now I'm just off on a kill. See, I'd rather be doing anything than Hovind. I'd rather talk about Guild Wars lore. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just start doing Guild Wars lore videos. Would that be a thing someone would want to see? I mean, I have to do a lot of research, but, I'd have some fun doing that. Because trying to do research to just waste my time arguing with Ken Hovind? Fuck that shit. Literally anything's better than debating Hovind, than arguing with Hovind. Ripping into him, fun. Debating him like he wants everyone to do so much? Nah, fuck that noise. You'd have to pay me, Kent. Pay up, big boy.
Because they understand it. I understand it way better than you, and I reject it.
Evolution Hovind doesn't understand shit.
Variations happen within the same kind of creature.
The same kind. I'm going to say the same thing over and over. Hovind.
They now have, 450 breeds of cows. They're still a cow.
450 cows, 450 Hovinds.
You might get a big cow, a little cow, more milk, more beef, but you always get a cow. You can't get out of the cow kind. I understand it better than you, Hank, and I do not believe evolution is responsible for the beauty in the world. By the way, Hank, if your brain is just a random collection of chemicals that form by chance over billions of years, how do you trust your own reasoning process?
Oh, yes, there we go. Kent going into the the apologist thing of like, how can you trust logic without God? It's these stupid wannabe gotchas they think, they think have any validity, and it's just crap sophistry. It goes nowhere. It's a pointless question. If you want to debate philosophy, sure, but that still doesn't negate a single fact of evolution, the scientific method of any of it. It goes nowhere. It's pointless. It's just a detour. It's a red herring you want to go down because you don't want to actually discuss shit. Of course, in this case, you're just reacting to a video. You get, what is it? A minute and 38 seconds in. I'm 15 and a half minutes into your video. At least I actually give your crap, full attention, full focus.
How do you know you're even thinking about this straight? How do you know you're thinking at all? How do you know what beauty is? How do you know what the word understand means? How do you know that? Your brain's nothing but chemicals that got together by chance.
Stand it. It's time to get real, people.
And yeah, the classic. Effectively, I call it, sentience doesn't exist in and of itself. There has to be other factors involved because, it can't just develop these ideas on its own as yet another emergent property of just the nature of, complexity. Emergent complexity, that's what it is. It's a key principle that they just, creationists just reject, that things can't just get more and more intricate, as they're wont to do in every other case where we see random processes, doing their thing.
I'm real. This is a thing. Oh, we're ready. Okay.
I mean, look at it. He's only up to the intro of Hank's video. As he takes a sip from his cup.
Let's understand what we mean when we talk about the theory of evolution. Evolution is just the idea that gene distribution changes over time, which is an indisputable fact which we observe all the time.
Let's stop right there before you keep blabbering.
Stop right there before you keep blabbering, as Hank, perfectly articulates in a very simple term, because you seem to love simplicity, Kent. Except when it comes to, your God creating stuff, then you want things as complex as possible because, they gotta be stupidly complex, otherwise how's God gonna know? God gotta get the glory for hodgepodging this bullshit together, Hovind. you want to pause here and do your usual rejection when he's very clearly articulating, because it is an absolute fact. Evolution is actually, as far as the evidence goes, the most well substantiated concept in all of science, and yet you reject it. That's the hilarious thing about it. You're just like, nope, nothing. It's like, you realize why that's so funny, right? That you just have to be, just there has to be a reason other than, oh, I don't believe it. It's like, no, no, no. It's money for you, Kent. That's all it is. It's your shtick. It's your whole bread and butter. That and, tax evasion.
Correct. Gene distribution happens all the time. We can observe it. What we observe is there are variations and they're limited. Limited. You want to take an amoeba or a single cell creature of some kind and have it grow arms, legs, lungs, eyes, nose, or in the case
Misrepresentation of evolution. This is a thing he does all the time, where he acts like the individual creature suddenly poke-evolves into something else. It's not how it works, Kent. This is, one would call it a Freudian slip. It's a slip. It's some kind of psychological slip. We can get into the classification of what kind of slip it is if you want to, but it's a deep admission that your understanding, your belief on what the theory is supposed to be, according to your weird thoughts, is very obviously not what it actually is. You can't even hide it. This little stuff slips out, and you're just like, oh no, that's not what I think. It's like, that's exactly what you think, Kent. Amoeba, Pokevolve 2. I'm well. Yeah, that's a whale now. I wasn't amoeba. I was going to turn into a prince, Hovind.
of a whale, flippers, you go nuts over this, Hank. You and all your atheist and evolutionist idiots who believe this dumb religion. It's limited. This is what you don't see. Farmers been trying and trying to get more corn per acre, bigger corn, sweeter corn. They always get corn. Same thing with anything. My wife's family, my mom and some of her sisters involved in raising exotic breeds of dogs to sell. Okay, there's now 339 recognized breeds of dogs by the American Kennel Association. They're still dog. They have the big dog, the Great Dane, and the little bitty teacup Chihuahua, and they're stuck within the dog kind. They're never going to get a dog as big as Texas. There is a
I wonder how short you could make a Ken Hovind video if you were to just summarize what he says in every response, cut out all the fat, cut out all the meandering bullshit, and just get to the actual point, whatever that may be. For one, it's going to be the same three things over and over, but for two, probably cut the video length down to, let's see, if this video is 28 minutes long, 29, probably get it down to maybe 8. Easy. Probably even less, depending on how much of a meandering load any given video, meandering loads of his is filled with. God, I'm sorry, I'm just so burnt out. This ugh. Hovind, man. Man, it's a chore. I probably shouldn't have done this one since I'm still tired, but I just had the urge to do it and strike while the iron's hot. Come on. Last bit. We can do this. Shut up, let Hovind say his stupid shit, be done with it. Fuck you, Hovind.
limit. Can you admit there are variations within the kind, but they're limited? That's what you guys don't get. You want to take an amoeba and turn it to a whale. Amoebas are limited. They produce a variety of amoebas, but they're still amoebas. How can
Kent on Joe Rogan would be a goddamn nightmare. Joe Rogan needs to not have a fucking show with the kind of bullshit that fucktard has on. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't even know who the fuck Joe Rogan is. Why the fuck he has this podcast and has all these psychopaths on is beyond me. But man, fuck this comment. Fuck this contact. Fuck that comment. Fuck you, Nathan. Fuck you, Kent. Hank, keep going.
they get it? Okay. Get me on the Joe Rogan show. Call him up. I'll get on there. Have you tried that, Sergio? Okay, I'll go on. I'll go on any show.
Okay, Kent, would you come on my show and let me ask you questions? Or would you just want it to be the same formatted debate that it always is so you can run your script? Yeah, I didn't think so.
The natural world. But the theory of evolution is a large set of ideas that integrates and explains a huge mass of observations.
It does no such thing. Who taught you that? Evolution's not a theory, it's a religion. A hypothesis is a guess. Anybody can have that. If there's some facts that support it, it becomes a theory. Evolution has no facts to support it. Show me some. Come debate me, Hank. There's no
Come fight me, bro. I'm just asserting it's wrong because I'm Ken Hovind and that's all I do. This is how I make my money. This is what I like to spend my time doing, just saying the same shit over and over. Hovind.
evidence of any animal changing to what anybody would consider a different kind of animal. You just blabber on about this stuff. You're obviously brainwashed. Okay, you drank the Kool-Aid and you're puking it back up on everybody here.
From different disciplines, including embryology.
Oh, you're 150 years behind.
He can't let somebody get 3 words in before he's got to pause and comment. At least me, AJ, and the like actually let Kent go about his bullshit for, at least whole statements. It's one of the reasons Kent's so irritating to watch, too. You can't even let somebody actually get through an entire. And I know I've said it before in this, but it just. More examples. He just can't let it happen. Imagine doing the video where.
The time, Hank.
It's always something like this.
Embryology, if you're still using.
And, I just got to keep on interrupting.
Haeckel's idea. You need to watch my video number 4.
Because, that's what you do. Also, as far as Haeckel goes, AJ roasted you on that, Kent. Shut up. Trying to discredit any of the constructs that Haeckel had noticed, or any of the things Haeckel had noticed and the ideas he had come up with that have been since refined. We have microphotographs of the various embryos in the stages of development. Not just his drawings. Drawings are usually used for historical reference on what was first observed. And even if they're discredited to whatever degree, it doesn't make them intrinsically wrong. Not that that matters, though, because, again, we have the microphotographs. We've seen them at this stage. We know what they look like. The points he brought up are still valid. And he wasn't discredited. You never found evidence of that. No one's found evidence of that. It's just shit creationists make up. Everything's shit creationists make up, but that's an extremely egregious example of it.
Get my video series, Hank. Get number 4, Lies in the Textbooks.
No one wants your fucking video series.
8 years here. We've covered this 40 times. There is no evidence for evolution from embryology. I'm sorry, you got lied to. And now you're spreading the lie. Embryology has nothing to do with evolution.
There's no evidence for God in the universe. You've been lied to, Kent, and you're spreading the lie. Hovind been lied to. Brainwash. Manipulate the masses. Hovind.
You're going to rattle off all these words, and your ignorant followers are going, oh, wow, got to be true.
Let's note that Kent just called everyone who appreciates Hank Green's, clearly well done scientific videos. He thinks they're all ignorant. He just called you all willingly stupid. You gonna take that? You just gonna let Ken Hovind do that? I mean, I'm not saying do anything, but I'm just saying, you really shouldn't just let this kind of shit go. This is why people rip on Kent, because he's such an asshole. Just absolute fucking jerk. And, a convicted felon and a spousal abuser, tax protester, sovereign citizen, New World Order conspiratard. Lots of stuff. Hovind believes idiocy.
Hank said it. Let's see. Paleontology supports evolution. Digging up bones out of the dirt. Hank, look at me. When you dig up bones out of the dirt, all you really know is it died. You can't prove it had any children. You can't prove it had children that lived. You can't prove it had children that were different.
Yes, Kent, but you prove it was part of a population of species that, seem pretty unique, that clearly once existed, but don't anymore. It's funny how that works. But again, you've been told this 1,000 times and had the details explained to you, and you just outright reject it because that's your entire MO, as I've said about 1,000 times here. Yeah, that's one of the boring things about doing Ken Hovind videos, because you're pretty much going to say the same things to react to him, because that's all he's got is the same things over and over, like clockwork. I mean, seriously, you watch enough of his stuff, you know exactly how he's going to respond to things, so it's a very boring watch. Very boring. If you're still here, though, I'm glad. I'm glad you're finding me entertaining, even in my ready to fall asleep stage. Hank is boring. No, Hank's great. Because Kent is so damn boring. Yeah, appreciate you. Let's wrap this up. Fuck Kent.
Your Honor, I move the case be dismissed. He can't prove any of those things. And they
Oh, there we go. His courtroom analogy, which is funny because Kent has a terrible track record in court and seems to hate the courts, hate lawyers, and everything, but he still loves to use that analogy. And science is not determined in the courts. It's not how it works, Kent.
would dismiss it in not a court of law. You're making a claim with zero evidence. Let's see.
Tons of evidence. You just reject it.
Botany supports evolution. Hank, the study of plants is amazing. I taught biology 15 years.
You taught biology in fucking private little church things. Probably basic biology too. Claude Balls had uploaded very recently a video where Hovind slipped up and made a hint at where he might actually have taught those 15 years proper. And it's not an actual high school like is always wanted to be implied, like in his lies in the textbook or just the way he phrases things. So, more lies in the Hovind. Lies in the Hovind.
I love studying plants and
Lying's a sin, Hovind. Hovind's a sinner.
how the root is the root goes down. It's geophilic and phototrophic.
Oh, look, here's what I was talking about from the beginning. Kent using big words because he learns the big words, make it sound like he knows what he's talking about on stuff. Use a couple of words that most people don't know involving plants and sound like you're an expert. Make you sound smarter than the other people. You're not doing it to provide education. You're just using it to make yourself sound smarter. But you accuse other people of doing that very thing when they're actually discussing a subject with detail. You're just bringing up random shit. Come on, Kent. You're not fooling anybody. At least not anybody who's not already part of your cult.
Who taught the root to do that? The bud coming out is photophilic. It wants to reach the sunlight. And geotrophic. It wants to go against gravity. How did it do that? And the root is hydrophilic. It wants to grow toward water. You can plant a plant, water it on one side, all the roots go that way.
Now, see, if I wanted to make these videos more detailed, I would pre-watch, do research on that stuff, and actually respond to those individual points. That's if I felt like spending the time on it, and I don't. Now, I do want to look up this subject because, I, one, really enjoy plants. I have a bunch of them surrounding me. I love growing plants. Uh, God, that sounded weird. I got cacti over there, various succulents and the like. It's not like you think. Um, but I do enjoy horticulture. And I would find it interesting, the evolution of those aspects of plants. But I'm not gonna, make it a loaded question of who taught it to do that. More of what facets would have developed that would have been beneficial. What little traits would have formed. How those traits might have come about. And look at how it all worked out. But Ken can't appreciate that because it doesn't require his magic designer. Anything that doesn't require his magic designer is evil. Something to that effect.
How does the root know that? Does the root have a brain? Botany supports creation and amazing design. Give God the glory for his botany.
No, you haven't demonstrated a God exists. Plants seem to be pretty well understood without needing to invoke a magic creation, story man. Gotta put plants before the sun. All the plants die. Planet cold, but nope, it's fine. It's fine because it's in the Bible. Over. Genesis gets it wrong.
Biochemistry supports evolution. Hank, nobody has been able to take chemicals and make life. Nobody. They've tried really hard. And if they do, somehow a bunch of smart scientists make life in the laboratory, that would only prove it took intelligence to make life, Hank.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, where he was like, make it in a lab. Well, if anyone does, you just sit there and say it proves that you need it. So it's a loaded, there's no winning with you. That's one of the other things that makes it fucking obnoxious. There's no winning with you. If you were to actually prove a deity, okay, we'd admit it. But you can't do that. You won't do that. Because you can't. But, just say everyone else is wrong, Kent. That's all you can do. Ramble on for 30 minutes of time every night saying everybody else is wrong. And, somehow you get donations because of it. Just doesn't make sense.
How can you guys not get it?
Paleontology, botany, biochemistry, anatomy, and geophysics.
Yeah, Worm of the Dust has it right. Please don't forget to like and share my video. Not Hovind's video, but my video on Hovind. Yeah, like and share. Like and share Chris Yamato's content. Hovind.
Anatomy?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's Karusu Tomato. Because Kent, likes to mock people's names. When he got pissed at me later on in the Comments on Comments video, though, he actually did pronounce it mostly correctly, which is kind of amusing. When he gets mad, he took it seriously. I want to say I wonder if he thinks it's my actual name. Because he doesn't know anything about me beyond the voice, if he even watched my video. Maybe.
Supports evolution. Hank, I challenge you, please. Call for a debate.
I challenge you. Call for a debate. Hovind challenge Hank Green. Hovind debate. That's all it is. It's fight me in real life, bro. It's silly.
There's nothing. Anatomy is incredibly complex. Had to be designed. Which came first, the muscle or the bone to pull against? What if you had the bones but no muscles? What if you had the muscles but no bones? Which came first? It's incredibly complex. Nothing from anatomy supports evolution. Stop lying. What was the other one?
That was a claim of irreducible complexity right there, in a sense. Apologize, I yawned right there. In my original video, I recall going into what would have come first. I do not feel like it here. Long and the short is, not that hard to imagine cells that would have happened to have been able to contract or loosen a bit, relax, proving a benefit. Things inching around, things, maybe fitting in tighter spaces. Lots of little benefits, and that just working its way up. Again, very simple little things become more complicated. It's not a hard concept. Unless you just, reject reality.
He said geophysics. What's that have to do? The physics of the world, of how it works, the geology of the world. Nothing about the world supports evolution. It's beautifully designed. Spins at just the right speed, of just the right length of daylight. What if it spun slower? What if we had to stay awake for 75 hours and finally go to sleep? I think that...
Yes, the puddle that thinks that the hole it's in is perfectly made for it, ignoring that life on the Earth is the way it is as a result of where it happened to have developed, Earth. Yeah. It's like, come on, Kent. Come on.
It's designed. The moon is designed just right to pull our water up, keeps the ocean stirred up so they don't go stagnant, and is 10 degrees off the equator. So instead of going around our equator, the moon's 10 degrees off, which means it's constantly changing the tide north and south of the equator. It keeps things stirred up. I think it's amazingly designed. I don't have a problem giving God the glory for his creation, Hank. Not at all. Okay, in everyday life, okay.
In everyday language, the word theory means hunch or even hypothesis, but in science, a theory is an idea that explains several phenomena at once.
Okay.
Yeah, Hank got it right. That is a valid description of theory as far as I'm concerned. Now to hear Kent ramble on and say bullshit for another, 5 minutes.
Evolution is not a theory, it's not a thing. Evolution is a religion. You believe it happened long ago and far away. It's not observable today.
Except it is.
Hank, quit calling it. It's not even a theory. It's just a religious belief. Just
It's not a religion. It is a scientific theory. It's all the qualifications. You got Jack Diddley shit, except lies and a musty old book full of bullshit, Kent. That's it.
admit it, okay?
Thus, the theory of evolution is a bunch of ideas that explain many things that we as humans have observed for.
You're dreaming. I think the theory of creation explains everything.
Creation isn't a theory. There's nothing behind it except the musty old book and a bunch of weirdos who take it seriously. Also, once again, he can't let Hank get through a complete statement without having to interject. I say as I interject Kent before his rambling, but I mean, you gotta cut in early on one of these things because Kent's just gonna go on for another, 5 minutes at a time. Hovind likes to ramble more than me.
The Bible says the scoffers like you would be willingly ignorant of how God made the heavens and how the earth was destroyed by a flood, and they're ignorant of the coming judgment of God. Second.
Don't care what the Bible says, Kent. Of course, a book full of a bunch of impossible bullshit is going to say people are going to scoff at it and not believe it. Because it's self-aware. The people who wrote it know that it's full of shit. It's a nice, self-defense mechanism. Oh yeah, this is the holy word of an infallible deity, and people aren't going to believe it because, we know it's full of shit, but they ain't going to believe it, and that's their problem. Give us money. Give us money. Sorry, I've watched so much of AJ's content that the Hovind impersonations just burned into my reactions. So I'm gonna constantly do it, whether I want to or not. It just happens. Harvard.
Peter chapter 3. Write your name in that chapter if you got a Bible. If not, I'll send you one.
For thousands of years. It's the theory.
That reminds me, I do have a Bible sitting around here. I really need to get around to getting a whole bunch of like highlighters and tabs and stuff, and just mark all the bullshit in it, like all the horrible parts about it. The ones about murdering towns, pillaging, and taking the young girls for yourselves, and the slave parts, and any other bullshit that I find in there that isn't the most commonly known stuff. That might be fun. Then again, if I'm gonna waste my time reading a book, I'd rather read Harry Potter or something than that. That's more real. At least England exists.
That meticulously and precisely explains the facts.
Well, please come debate me on this, Hank, and show me what you mean by that.
It's like the 12th time he's asked him to come debate. That's all he's got. But on denying stuff, it's like, well, come debate me then, so I can run my script and manipulate everything you say and just, standing for truth, just let me get away with murder. I'm Hovind. I'm gonna get away with murder on camera, like Murder versus Central Park, and it would still Hovind me. Hovind.
You're making these bold, grandiose statements that are completely empty. None of this has any meat on the bones, Hank.
Completely empty, just like Ken Hovind's head.
Show me the facts that support your theory.
People have. You reject them outright. There's nothing anyone can do after that. That's your own willful ignorance. Excuse me. Willful ignorance. Had one of those moments where I didn't, totally form the word and felt conscious about it. We're almost through.
I've been asking for this for a long time. There are none. No facts at all.
And the facts are indisputable.
I agree. It's a fact life is way too complex to have happened by chance. It's a fact that cows only produce cows. It's a fact that
lines on
frogs only
paper
produce
talking
baby
about
frogs.
complexity, Hovind.
To connect a frog to a sunflower is not a fact, Hank. There are 70 varieties of sunflowers. It's a fact they make baby sunflowers. That's a fact. It is not a fact the sunflower is related to the dinosaur. That's not a fact. Evolution is not a fact. And you claiming it is doesn't make it a fact either. Got some visitors here. Hey, welcome in, folks. Come on in.
Those poor, poor people.
Spend some time going through the facts and how evolution explains them all so well. First, fossils.
It's a fact. Fossils are in the ground. Now listen to me. Look at me, Hank. It is not a fact.
I'd like to note that we're only 2 minutes 44 seconds into Hank's 11-minute 43 video. Really should do an analysis on how much time Kent spends speaking versus how much Hank spends speaking. I mean, if you do an analysis on a reaction video, it's always going to be more for whoever is doing the reacting, but as a proportion of how much video there actually is, it's, yeah.
That they can show any change. You're based on the assumption that the layers of the Earth are different ages. Fact, Hank, it's a fact. Every speck of dirt on the planet is the same age, wherever you find it. If it all came from the Big Bang, every speck of dirt in the universe is.
Kent, how old are you? Are you as old as your atoms? Or are you as old as a particular arbitrary point in which you were quote-unquote created or formed? Or in this case, you were given birth to? That's the way we measure the layers. It's been explained to you. And you're going to say, where do new layers come from, Space? Lots of geologic processes that are far more complicated than you wish to understand, will admit, or can even comprehend. Which I think goes with point one, that you wish to understand. You don't want to understand them, so you can't comprehend them. I don't know. You know, this is the thing. When you do these things live, you don't have time to really refine what you're going to say. It's just a live reaction. You're getting it raw. You're getting everything raw, and we're doing it live. It's fun, but also annoying because sometimes it's rough articulating oneself. But I'm doing this partially to sharpen myself again, get back to being able to do these slightly more quick-witted reactions and such as I do other content. Get back to feeling more comfortable putting my voice online and doing video content. And I do appreciate the positive feedback and even the criticisms. I really do, because people want my stuff to be better. At least those who are providing valid criticisms and aren't just, being full of shit. But yeah, let's finish. I know I say that 1,000 times. We're going to do it. We're going to the end. As soon as he hits the question and answers, I am done.
The same age. And this geologic column they made up in 1830, 200 years ago, this geologic column does not exist anywhere.
This Bible they wrote like 2,000 years ago, none of this exists anywhere. Same thing can be said, Hovind. You can just say this kind of crap and just, there you go, just make the random assertion. It's just like, come on, dude.
Anywhere except the textbook, a picture of it, and it's imagination. They got the Jurassic and the Cretaceous and all this. This is all baloney. It's a fact, Hank.
You got the book of Genesis and the book of Ishmael, and you got the book of Tom Selleck. It's all baloney.
The top layer.
Top grade Oscar Mayer baloney.
Layer is the same age as all the layers. If the top layer is younger, Hank.
God, my Hovind impression is completely broke down at this stage. Everything is broke. I am completely fried at this stage. Hopefully this video is still funny. If it's not, at least you're still watching. Or not, but if you're not watching, how would you know I'm saying this? Got a real chicken and egg thing going on here. By the way, the egg came first.
Where did it come from? Is it coming from outer space? Is material being added to the planet? No, I'm sorry, Hank.
Technically, yes, but that's not where the layers come from. That's not how they're defined. It's been explained to you. Like everything, you reject it. Oh, at this stage, I think you genuinely forget that this shit's been explained to you. As you repeat the same shit so often, I think your brain just resets every week.
Did I lose it there? Okay, there we go. Fossil record. There is no fossil record, Hank. There are fossils, but there's no record. Let's see.
The record shows that organisms that lived long ago were different from those that we see today.
No, that is not a fact, Hank.
Yeah, it is, Kent. It is.
Thousands of creatures are found as fossils that are identical to animals today. There have been no change.
Raw biblical creation data says evolutionists have second-grade drawings. That's it. Creationists have Bronze Age fairy tales. That's it.
Okay? And there might be some fossils that they find that don't no longer exist. That's an example of extinction.
Wait, did he say don't no longer exist? I'm going to go back.
Some fossils that they find that don't no longer exist.
Yep, he said it. That don't no longer exist. I know that was just a speech flub, because Hovind and I actually make some similar little flubs in our speech. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with the word I just said. Um, but it's just funny to hear him say it, because again, he seems to act like he's freaking perfect. He'll say he's not, but he acts like he is. Acts like he thinks he's perfect. Oh, I'm Ken Hovind. I'm God's messenger. He's got a special place for me up there, which he's pretty much actually said. So yeah, let that sink in. He thinks he's something special to super high deity, which of course makes sense. You know, he's gonna be that full of himself.
That's an example of extinction. That's not, you can't prove a bone in the dirt changed to something alive today. Stop and think for a minute. No fossil counts as evidence for evolution. None of them. All you could prove is it died.
Redundancy
You
is my
can't
job,
prove it had
Hovind.
any children that lived. If you disagree with that, show me where I'm wrong.
People have you reject it.
Sounds obvious, but 200 years ago, it seemed a little bit crazy. When scientists started studying dinosaur fossils in the 1820s, they thought that all dinosaurs were basically giant iguanas. That's why the first fossil
He shut up on his own. I didn't touch him. Oh. Well, that's enough for tonight. My throat hurts. We'll quit. Hank, I could go on and whack you for the next 400 years.
Yeah, you might not want to say something like that, Kent. It sounds a little disgusting. All right, well, there we go. It was a rough run, but still hopefully a better run. Went through the Whack an Atheist on Hank Green again. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you feel the urge. And if you got a suggestion for something to do next, let me know down below. Again, thanks for watching. You're awesome. I'll catch you next time.